Oh my God. Guys, I hope y'all can hear me because I'm working on it. I'm having to relog into stuff, so I can't see the chat yet. We're going to talk about some news stuff this morning. We talk about the Biden administration diverting Veterans Affairs money to criminal aliens. We're going to talk about, the government betrayed you again, and they keep doing it. And I guess we're supposed to all pretend like we're surprised by that? All right, and good morning. Ooh, let's get that studio light on. There we go. Good morning, everybody. So, the government's at it again. Middle of the night, they just, you know what? Screw you guys. Screw all y'all. Fucking taxpayers, voters, American citizen. Who needs them? Let's just go ahead and send $95 billion to Ukraine. Right? Now, I guess we can take heart that we are seeing a little bit of the checks and balances system pushing back on that. Apparently, the bill is DOA when it gets to the House. Johnson says, just gonna shut it the fuck down. Okay, good. That's a start. But the idea that we can just send $95 billion to the Democrat money laundering operation that is Ukraine ever is ludicrous. Right now, we've got a southern border invasion going on, and we're sending money to Ukraine. I want to get you guys smart on something. We hear about some of the problems we have in the United States. We hear about these problems. And yeah, Pitt Danny points out we're funding both sides of the Israeli conflict as well. And that's not the first time we've done that shit. Right? I've talked on this program about the Cash for Work program that Obama ran in Afghanistan while I was deployed there. And it's disgusting. We've got homeless veterans. We've got a southern border invasion. We've got outrageous inflation. We still have a California that hasn't been broken off into the ocean yet. And we're spending money on other people's problems. Let me tell you, the most important thing that you should always remember about other people's problems is until your own house is perfectly in order, those problems are just that. They're other people's problems. Right? You know, as much as you love your good buddies and your family, right? Their bail fund is not your problem if you can't make your rent. Likewise, if you can't take care of your own citizens and uphold the obligations of your office, then foreign military entanglements are not your problem. You know, as far as I'm concerned, Russia can have Ukraine at this point. I don't care. I really don't. The U.S. is, I've talked about this before. We are not, Pitt Danny, that's a great example. Pitt Danny says, put your own air mask on first. And that is an excellent example. That's a fantastic allegory for what we're doing in America right now. America right now is running around helping everybody get their air mask on as the plane's going down. Right? Having created a situation where apparently nobody else is able to put on their own air mask. And the problem with that is you're going to die of oxygen starvation before you finish putting the masks on everybody else, which means that everybody who needs a mask on, that's waiting for you to put yours on, dies because you didn't handle your business first. Right? You know, your kid's locked up in jail and you go spend the rent to bail them out. Now you're both homeless. You could have left him with 3 hots and a cot for a week while you went to work and made some fucking money and handled your business. Clean your own room first, right? So let's talk about some of the other issues that are on the table right now, because at the same time we've just gotten this expose via Senator Tommy Tuberville from Alabama, who's talking about something going on with the VA. And I'm going to talk a little bit about veteran stuff and homeless veterans. I hope you guys saw the thumbnail. In fact, there's the thumbnail. You see, there's the homeless veteran and Zelensky laughing because he got the money that should have taken care of some of our vets. Don't forget that 25% of homeless in America are veterans, right? And 22 suicides a day and all those stats that we know about that revealed. Biden admin diverts Veterans Affairs resources to illegal immigrants. And it's being done. It's being done through a particular program that I have some experience with. And oh my God, it's mind numbing. So I'm going to talk a little bit this morning about my experience with Veterans Affairs as a disabled veteran as well. So it's been revealed that the Biden administration has been diverting resources from the Veterans Affairs organization to help illegal immigrants around the country. Senator Tommy Tuberville spoke about the matter with Fox Digital, and full disclosure, okay, this article is from the Post Millennial from yesterday. I clicked on this link and went to the Fox Digital page. I was going to go ahead and use their article because this article references that article, so I was going to go back to the original source. But frankly, the Fox Digital page with this article is so crammed up with bullshit ads that I couldn't get it to load and stay loaded without going funny so that I could share that one with you. Sergeant Major says he received great care from the VA in Dublin yesterday, and I will grant I have had some good experiences with the VA, and I've had some pretty awful ones as well. And I'll relate some of those. Tuberville told the outlet they've opened up care from the doctors in these VA community care systems. The lines now in the VAs are getting longer. Our funds that are supposed to go to the veterans are going to these illegal immigrants that are coming across. So the community care stuff that they're talking about, there was a program put into place in, I want to say in 2012. I want to say it was 2012 where they started the program that I'm thinking of. It's damn, I can't remember what the name of the program is, but they sent me an ID card to use for the program, and basically the idea is that as a veteran, the lines are long, the wait times are ridiculous. Like right now, if you want to get an appointment with the VA in Atlanta, they're scheduling 45 days out, right? So obviously, if you've got something serious, your option is private care or the VA emergency room, and that's a whole nother bowl of wax that is also a problem. There are some good doctors in the VA, but I despise making the statement there are some good ones in that rotten place, right? It's like saying there are some good cops. Well, that doesn't do anybody any good if the good cops aren't working to fix the bad cops, and there are plenty of those. There are some good judges. Yeah, well, fuck the Department of Justice all the same, because holy God, have they become vociferously and obviously corrupt. And it's hard to reconcile that. So the program they're talking about with the community centers is the VA contracts with private medical providers. That's general physicians and specialists, whatever you need, basically. You call the VA to get an appointment, and they say it'll be 45 days or it'll be 60 days, whatever. And when it's going to be more than 90 days to get any kind of appointment, they'll refer you to one of these community medical centers. I've used that. I've never actually used that program. Let me rephrase that. I've attempted to use that program a half a dozen or so times. In two of those occasions, they actually had me getting my appointment with a private provider through the community services program later than the VA could schedule me. And in all but one other case, it got me a day or two earlier than the VA could get me in. The program is functionally useless. This is why. This article suggests that it's just the Biden administration that's doing it, but apparently it's been going on since the Obama administration. So basically, they've opened up care from the doctors in these VA community care systems. The lines now in the VAs are getting longer. Our funds that are supposed to go to the veterans are going to these illegal immigrants that are coming across. So it is also the case that those illegal immigrants that are being put into that same system are getting the very long waits as well. But that's because you're artificially increasing the volume of a program that is there for veterans. So okay, disabled veterans. I'm a disabled veteran, right? Permanent and totally disabled. I can stand up, walk around. I can even do a good bit of work, but I've got some problems with sleep. I'm essentially deaf when I don't have my hearing aids in, which the VA provided me with a great set of hearing aids, and I'll give them credit where credit's due. Those hearing aids saved my marriage. But and I've even had a few surgeries through the VA that went very well. Now, getting to the surgeries was an arduous journey in each case. I had to have a bad spot in my back removed that was significantly worse than it had to get because of the delay from the initial consultation to the actual surgery. So there's that. And the thing about veteran disability, as a disabled veteran, you actually get paid some money, and that's supposed to be, in theory, to compensate you for the loss of your earning potential, right? And a little bit of money is nice. It is. I'll grant that. Now I'm still in good enough shape, even though I've got some problems and I struggle with some stuff. Like, I'm in just about the best health a person can be as a 100% disabled veteran. But everything's relative. Before I was blown up in combat in Afghanistan and kind of, busted my back and tore up my hips and knees, like, I could literally change your tire without a jack. I was bordering on the superhuman, and now I'm just not. And that has to do with the service, right? So the money's kind of nice, but you got to understand how the whole system works to understand why these issues are actually important. If you are not 100% totally and permanently disabled, rated with the VA, you can only get seen for those conditions which have been rated. So if you're like 50%, you're rated at 50% disability, and you have a medical problem that is not related to something that is connected to your service, you can be seen at the VA, but you have to pay for it, right? So it's not the same as having health care. It's not the same as having health insurance. Because of the Affordable Care Act, if you are a veteran who has access to the VA, you are ineligible for the subsidies that theoretically make the Affordable Care Act affordable, which means that if you're a veteran and you want to get out and work hard and enjoy the American dream, start a business, build a business, build a fortune, and move forward in the world and be productive after you've left the military, there are some major roadblocks that are put there not by your disability, but by government policy. If you are a veteran, you're essentially forced by law to use the VA unless you want to pay full price for health insurance. And the way the whole Affordable Care Act thing works is if you're not eligible for subsidies through the Affordable Care Act, then health insurance basically starts at $1,000 a month. And that's a bullshit plan with like a $9,000 deductible. It's not just expensive health insurance, it's garbage health insurance. Now, I'm pulling those numbers entirely out of my ass right now because I gave up my license. I haven't written a quote on a health insurance policy in 5 years. The truth is that it's probably even worse than what I'm describing now because it has deteriorated. You know, it was consistently deteriorating for the several years that I was in the business, and it has continued to deteriorate since then. But so as a disabled veteran, much of your options are foreclosed by your legal status as not even a disabled veteran, as a veteran generally. Now, once you hit that fabled 100%, you're covered. Now you have socialized medicine to take care of your problems, right? Now you get dental. And now if, God forbid, something happens to you that's not service connected, you get that coverage. So when you hear veterans talking about trying to get the VA to settle their claim and get through, yeah, a little bit of money is nice, but that is not the real point. The real point is that basically these guys are being prevented from seeking medical care by the financial burden of a legal bar to entry for access to medical care. And that's a big deal. And that is what that's what the Biden administration is stealing money from the VA to give to criminal aliens, these hostile foreign invaders. At the same time, they're able to scratch up $95 billion to send over to Volodymyr Zelensky, right? And let's I had a couple of video clips I wanted to share, and I want to share them in order. I'm missing one, but that's okay. So at the same time that all this is going on, we've got this from yesterday. Breaking news. This is from Reuters. Exclusive. Putin's suggestion of Ukraine ceasefire rejected by United States. So on the same day that it is reported that Putin has made an overture to pursue a ceasefire, the U.S. rejects that overture, rejects that suggestion, and then votes to spend $95 billion on continuing a war that we are not supposed to be involved in. When I say we're not supposed to be involved in it, I mean... damn it. Trying to do too many things at one time. The war has not been declared in the Senate, right? Jesus Christ. And now here's Mitt Romney, this fucking hot-washed muppet, talking about spending $95 billion on somebody else's problems.
The vote we will soon take to provide military weapons for Ukraine is the most important vote we will ever take as United States senators.
The most important vote we will ever take as United States senators. You'd think this man wasn't around for 9/11. You would think this man wasn't around for Afghanistan. The most important vote we will ever take as senators. You would think there were no bills on the floor that referred to or attempted to get more funding and help to our homeless veterans, our disabled veterans. Right? And, I may sound like I'm begging for money when I talk about trying to do stuff to help homeless veterans, disabled veterans. Okay, I'm a disabled vet. I do get a little bit of money from the VA as a result of being a disabled vet, but I'm a full-time working guy, and I do a lot of work with veterans organizations. One of those organizations is Operation Rally Point, that works to rehouse homeless veterans. And they primarily work with the newly or recently homeless, not the chronically homeless. Guys who just got in a bad spot and fell through the cracks. Not the guys that have been living on the street for years and years. Those are different organizations. But I'm working with Operation Rally Point, right? We've been working on this for a couple of months now, on a documentary about that work, about what's involved there. If you got some spare money laying around, Operation Rally Point is a great charity to make donations to, and y'all can look them up. And I'll have the guys from Operation Rally Point on the show one morning in the not too distant future, and we'll be talking about it. But I want to leave you guys with this morning. The United States is one of the last places on earth that has anything even vaguely resembling a private medical industry. That industry generates the vast majority of all new medical technology and development. As much noise has gone about the COVID vaccine, there are good vaccines, and those come out of the United States almost exclusively. The U.S. private medical sector is the greatest boon to the development and advancement of medical technology and science in the world. And the medical system, the socialized medical system of every nation that has one, is only there because it is subsidized by U.S. taxpayer dollars in one form or another. Many of them are subsidized directly through a foreign aid program. All of the NATO members that have a socialized medical system, which is, except for us, their system is subsidized by the mere existence of NATO, which we fund the vast majority of, while many of those nations, I think we're up to 3 have made their 2% obligated contribution. But the vast majority of the NATO nations are not paying what they agreed to pay to support NATO activities. Right? And don't get too excited. I know it sounds like I'm talking about NATO like it's a positive thing. It's not. I would absolutely end NATO and just be done with that piece of shit overnight. But I want you to keep in mind that for the purpose of this conversation, my point is that by funding NATO, you're allowing these countries to spend less money on their own national defense and national security. All money is fungible. They do not have their utopian socialist dreams without that the property of hardworking Americans is taken by our own government at gunpoint under threat of death and ruination to subsidize their psychotic, greedy socialism. And that is the state of the world. So, all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and put a pin in it and wrap it up there. I have got to, I've got to do a Zoom meeting with some business partners, and then I'm headed to the farm. Y'all have a great day. Thanks for watching today. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow. Hey, real quick, I just saw Pitt Danny's comment down there. Says they need the Ukraine money to launder and use to steal the election. If there's one thing we can take from everything that's going on right now, Danny, it's that we can actually have some faith that we'll have a secure election this year, if only because nobody, not even the Democrats, can honestly say they believe Joe Biden is a preferable candidate. I mean, there's many of them that are saying it, but no one can honestly make the claim. They're giving up. They're going to let us have this one. They can't afford not to.